The world is in shock over what transpired in Bucha as the Russians retreated. With bodies piled up on the road, the images coming from Kyiv suburbs are beyond horrifying. India Today's senior executive editor Gaurav Sawant and video journalist Lalit Joshi witnessed the immediate aftermath of the massacre. Here's an India Today world exclusive.
The stench of rotting flesh, burnt bodies. This car, for example, as you can make out, an explosion took place very close by. There are shrapnel marks all over, and the shrapnel has also pierced the windscreen and killed those inside. A family, you can see bodies still inside this car after so many days. Devastated, lying on the road. A man, a woman, a child, and there are bodies that are also lying on the roadside, those who were killed in the shelling in this area. And this place in Bucha perhaps witnessed very bad, very intense fighting and shelling from both sides. Russia trying to move towards Kyiv, the Ukrainian army trying to stall the advance, and the battlefield was here in Irpin and in Bucha. But today, finally, when agencies have come here after the Russians retreated towards Belarus and the Ukrainian forces have taken control of this area, it's only now that medical services are arriving here to retrieve these bodies, and there are a number of them lying on the roadside, in front of buildings, in ditches. The Ukrainian army says some of them have their hands tied behind them and they were killed in cold blood. Some others killed in shelling. With cameraman Lalit Mohan Joshi in Bucha, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today. What is actually heartbreaking in these images, we'll just walk. They live here, they eat here, and they've had nowhere else to go. So bad is the situation that Tatya has just buried her child who was killed in shelling right here. And she broke down as she explained that to me, that the child must be very cold inside. So she made a cup of tea and she's put tea and her child's favorite chocolates on that grave that has been just dug here. And there are other graves that have been dug in this area after the shelling in Bucha. The situation here, extremely heartbreaking. The manner in which these people have survived close to 40 days of an intense Russian attack, and Ukraine armies fight back in this area. With cameraman Lalit Mohan Joshi in Bucha, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today. We are currently inside Bucha, and the destruction that you see all around during the Russian occupation of this place is visible for all. Burnt vehicles, burnt malls, burnt homes, damaged and devastated in the fire and the artillery shelling, the rocket fire, the missile fire, and the destruction that's been caused to people and their homes. The Ukraine army is now coming into this area along with medical services and emergency services. They've recovered some bodies, and while the forensics and the post-mortem teams will carry out their job, but they've taken images. Several of these bodies, according to the Ukraine army, have their hands tied behind them and they've been shot dead in cold blood in custody. Ukraine government says that this is a war crime and that they will hold Russia accountable for this, and several such bodies are littered on the streets of Bucha as we travel. India Today's team has traveled inside Bucha to get you an assessment of the ground situation nearing day 40 of this battle between Russia and Ukraine. While the Russian forces have retreated from Irpin and Bucha, it's only now that the army, the police, the medical services, the security services, they are entering this area, and this is completely abandoned. Not a soul in sight in this part of Bucha where we are right now.
Let's go across to my colleague Geeta Mohan, who's getting us an exclusive report from the Horlivka region in Donetsk as she travels to the new front line between Ukraine and Donbass region, where the war rages on between Russia and Ukrainian forces. Take a look at her ground report.
I'm here on a field artillery ammunition support vehicle, and Officer Alexei is my right to the front line. We are going there in just a bit from now to see what the situation is. This is beyond Gorlovka. They've taken the space, this entire place, which was Ukrainian territory, and now we'll see how fierce the fighting is at the border, the new front line between Ukraine and Donbass. With video journalist Satya Rautre, Geeta Mohan for India Today. We are here in Verkhneyarskaya. This is the front line. You can hear not so far away from here, action is ongoing. A fierce fight and assault, not just from the Russian side, but also a response from the Ukrainian side as well. But you can see over here the vehicles, armored vehicles, the artillery carriers, some of them destroyed, because look at the house, look at the houses, and the school over there completely destroyed. That school over there is absolutely destroyed. So that's the situation on the ground. But the Russian forces have taken control of this place, and the assault, the firing, shelling, bombing continues at the border, the new front line. With video journalist Satya Rautre, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
As Russia intensifies its attack in Ukraine, people are leaving their homes and fleeing the war-torn nation, and also taking refuge in neighboring nation Poland. India Today's Maushami Singh bringing you a ground report from Poland. Take a look.
In this entire crisis, the women and the children were worst affected, and Wrocław opened its doors. A story of life, story of struggle unfolding in small flats and small rooms like these, where you can see that how a mother, a daughter and a son right here fled from Ukraine and have spent weeks here trying to survive, and the mother trying to make a living. She works at the airport at the kitchen, and she's trying to work and make a living, but the struggle is a determination and the will to survive. It's been very difficult for you. Thank you for talking to us. How are you managing? What treatment were you meted out with here?
Нам дуже багато допомагає місто. Нам місто допомогло з продуктами, з харчуванням. Гроші на квартиру ми позичили, але я вже пішла на роботу, і ми гроші відробимо. Діти йдуть до школи, ходять до школи, мала ходить, малий теж ходить онлайн до школи. Ми дуже вдячні містові, президенту міста, що він нам допомагає з харчуванням, з продуктами, зі всім. Проїзд маємо безкоштовний. Ми дуже вдячні місту.
It was very difficult at the beginning, but they are very thankful for the Wrocław city. They give them also foods at the beginning. They have free foods. They found this renting. They lose money before, but to pay for the rent. But now she found the job in the airport, in the kitchen, so she can pay for the rent. And also they are very thankful the city for all help.
You can see Naza playing with his basketball. Of course, he would be missing his school. He's attending school online. It's not been easy for him. And you got your basketball here, or you bought it here? Or is it from back Ukraine?
Ти купив цього, чи він тут був?
Позичили мені.
Rent this. It was here, so
Okay.
they rent.
So you're attending classes online and wish to go back home very soon?
Ти відбуваєш клас онлайн, коли ти
Так.
поїхати?
Скоро хочу додому, до України.
Yes, he is online. He on online school, and he wanna back home also at the future, as soon as it's possible.
As soon as possible. And here there is a very sweet friend of mine who's turned 14. Who's turned 14? She turned 14 here just few days back. And your birthday was here in Wrocław.
Твоє день народження було тут в Вроцлаві?
Так, було в Ростові моє день народження, відсвяткували, гарно було.
How difficult is it for you to study? Like, what did she say?
She has her birthday in the Wrocław already because it was in the Saturday. There were a couple of friends, new friends from the school, because she started studying in the Polish school. And наскільки це було тяжко тобі писати по-польськи?
Було досить легко, адже на Україні я вивчала польську мову, на онлайн-уроки виходили, вчителі допомагають. Також в класі є діти з України, які мені допомагають. Ну, мені досить легко тут.
She said that it was not so difficult to start writing in the Polish because she already started learning Polish language before war was coming, because we have a lot of similar with the Poland. And also she said that there are a lot of Ukrainian people already in the class where she are going. So now everyone encourage them, helping them. So I also think that it will be more difficult, but it's not so difficult.
It's not so difficult, and so you can see that this is in Polish, and she's writing also in Polish now. That's very good. You're doing great, and you wish to go back to school very soon. You want to go back to school and meet Papa also. Papa, her father's back home. You wish to meet Papa and go back to school.
Так, хочеться додому на Україну назад. Сподіваюся, скоро що закінчиться.
You talk to him on the phone? Papa, you talk to your Papa on the phone?
Так, так,
He's all right?
З ним все добре?
так, все добре з
Yes,
ним.
everything is fine.
I really pray that you go back home very soon and you can go back to your school and meet your father.
Скоро поїдете додому і зустрінеться з татом.
Good girl. Don't cry, and wishing you a very happy birthday. Next birthday will be back home. Right? You can understand the pain and the plight of children who are the worst affected. Almost a quarter of the population of Ukraine has fled. And here's the mother of this brave daughter, brave son. Come together. Come all of you together. Daughter of a brave... Do you want to appeal to the world? No war, peace?
Ну, жодної війни, хочемо миру, всюди миру в всьому світі.
You want to appeal?
Тільки миру треба. В всьому світі.
No war?
No work, no work.
No work.
So here, this family, we're all saying no war, we want peace. Want peace?
Peace.
And please keep smiling. The India Today making this entire effort, this coverage to bring out the plight of the refugees and to make sure that their stories are told. With video journalist Parminder Sharma, this is Mosmi Singh in Wrocław for India Today.